It's time now for your weekly fishing reports and real-time outdoor news. This is the Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
In our continuing quest to bring you the best fishing from around our four-state region, your Southwest Outdoors Report brings you to the middle of Oklahoma for this week's episode. This is Arbuckle Lake, located north of Ardmore, Oklahoma, south of Oklahoma City, and east of I-35. It is a very scenic and picturesque lake located near Turner Falls in the Arbuckle Mountains. We're going to do a little bass fishing today, but there are also white bass, smallmouth bass, spotted bass, crappie, and catfish in the lake as well, and we'll be featuring some of that fishing on today's show. And while I'm out doing some bass fishing today, we're taking you around the region for your very latest fishing reports from Cajun Phil and Kevin in Louisiana, with both fresh and saltwater from there, from Gary Dallahan up in Oklahoma, from Bill Olson, saltwater report down on the Texas Gulf Coast, and Brian Hughes with your freshwater fishing report all around the state of Texas. On the Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week this week, we'll be showing you another good fishing lake in the southeastern corner of Oklahoma at Broken Bow. We'll have the Academy Right Stuff feature with all the tackle and equipment we use on today's show, and we'll show another big bass on the big catch of the week. But right now, we take you back to the FSN studios with your Chevy Weekend Planner, all your info for your weekend fishing trip upcoming.
A check of the fishing tables for the weekend indicates that peak game fish activity will take place in the mid-mornings and again after sunset. Our days continue to get longer, with sunrise taking place at 6:41 and the sun setting at 8:08. Evenings will have very little moonlight, with only 6% of the moon illuminated. We'll be right back with your freshwater and coastal updates from the state of Texas and all the other reports from around the Southwest.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors. By quality award-winning Tracker boats. Fish the finest. Lawrence, maker of the HDS, high-definition systems. And Academy, right stuff, low price, every day.
Got one. Oh, baby. Calm yourself down. Clear water down in there, boy. Come in here. All right. Not very big, but something just to get it going. Welcome back, everybody. Your Southwest Outdoors Report. In Oklahoma today, beautiful Lake of the Arbuckles. That's a little male bass right there. I'm gonna put him back. Kind of started off this morning with a lot of wind. Cool front blew through last night. Had to put a little heavier clothing on. And I will tell you, first thing about this lake is that the water here is very clear right now. They've not had a lot of rain in Oklahoma to stir things up. The lake's almost at normal level. But remember at OHIV a couple of weeks ago, I told you never to bring your wimpy tackle out there. This is a lake for wimpy tackle. Right now I've got just a medium action spinning rod, light line. I've only got 8-pound test strand fluorocarbon line on there, the clearest line I can possibly use. And I'll show you the bait a little bit later, but I've got a little small bait, small hook, small weight. That fish, I believe, was on a bed. We've still got a few spawning bass on this lake right now. We're on the tail end of the spawn, but I saw that fish circling, doing figure eights up there, and made about 4 pitches up there and caught him. So, something to get going at Lake of the Arbuckles. Right now, let's check out all your Texas freshwater fishing reports and head south to Brian Hughes with your Lone Star Lakes.
Hi folks, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by realrecovery.org. Now we're going to start on Lake Palestine, where catfish are just exploding very, very shallow. 4 feet of water or less around the major creeks. Go to those nearby banks, look for some timber, look for some cover, and throw either prepared baits or cut live bait to catch catfish on Palestine. Now, out at Lake of the Pines, they're catching brim, all the little bluegill, all the little sunfish. They're also up shallow, and all you need for this is a very lightweight rod, maybe 4-pound test line, a very small hook and bobber setup, and some live crickets or earthworms. You can throw these up in about 2 to 3 feet of water and hang on for just a lot of sunfish fun. Now, bass fishing, the best place to go right now is probably Lake Amistad. It doesn't have some of the negative connotation that Falcon has right now, and they're catching big bass on deep diving crankbaits and very large Texas rigged soft plastics. That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you by realrecovery.org. Let's check in with Mr. Bill Olson. You'll find him on the coast.
Hi folks, Texas Outdoors Journal brings you this week's report. For the very best monthly coastal and inland fishing information, plus year-round hunting tips, check out our award-winning magazine. Pick up a copy of TOJ on newsstands or subscribe securely at the website on the screen. On the few days that the wind has not howled, fishing has been as good as most of us anticipated. Then on the days when the water is off-colored, anglers fishing rattling baits or soft plastics and live shrimp under an Alameda rattling float or mauler have helped fish hone on the bait being presented. Higher spring tides are filling back lakes and bays as well as scattering fish. However, the telltale sign of good areas holding fish is active bait over sand and grass bottoms. Now this is true on the south shoreline of Sabine Lake near the causeway, east and west Galveston Bay, Christmas Bay, west Matagorda behind the peninsula, near Mud Island out of Port Aransas, the Land Cut and shallow rocky areas of Baffin Bay, plus Long Bar out of Port Isabel. More and more fish continue to come in the jetties and passes. One hot spot is San Luis Pass behind the west end of Galveston Island and Cole Pass that connects to Christmas Bay. Around Rockport, Port Aransas, and behind North Padre Island, the potholes and grass flats are seeing increasing numbers of speckled trout, with redfish scattered along shorelines and back bays. This weekend, both Saturday and Sunday have a double tide schedule of 2 high and 2 low tides each day. I'm Bill Olson, and I'll see you on the coast.
Hey, stay with us. I've got more bass fishing coming from Arbuckle Lake in central Oklahoma, and Gary Dollahan has the Sooner Beat, all your fishing and lake news from Oklahoma. It's all coming next.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Academy. Right stuff, low price, every day. Nitro Performance Bass Boats. Fish your best in a Nitro. Costa Del Mar Sunglasses. See what's out there. And by Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors.
Your Southwest Outdoors Report is at Arbuckle Lake today, located north of Ardmore, Oklahoma, between Ardmore and Oklahoma City on the east side of Interstate 35. It's a good bass fishing lake, good crappie, good white bass, good catfish, a lot of... Something bit that. He came back, he's got it. Got him. Oh, he's around something. Come loose, baby. Come loose, baby. Come on. There he came. There he came off of it. Little bass. Wow, that was adventuresome. All right. Well, some little male bass working around. We've got water temperatures here at Arbuckle around 70 degrees, which means that's right at the tail end of the largemouth bass spawn. A lot of bait fish, a lot of shad in this lake, big population of shad swimming everywhere, balls of them. I can see them on my Lowrance HDS sonar, and we've actually seen some schooling activity. In fact, my brother's fishing with me on this trip. He's back there behind the camera. You can't see him, but he caught a nice smallmouth bass yesterday. I didn't realize Arbuckle Lake has smallmouth, and we actually saw several of them busting shad. All right, we'll let that bass go back, and we're going to check on the rest of the fishing report, the rest of Oklahoma. Here's Gary Dollahan with the Sooner Beat.
Well, we finally got some much needed rain here in Oklahoma, especially on the eastern part of the state. Anytime you get those springtime rains and the water levels come up, those fish will come right up with the water level. If you like to bass fish especially, this can be a really fun time of year to fish. My son and his wife, anytime they're up visiting from Dallas, the water levels are rising here. He feels like he has to be throwing something in the cover, and that's what he and I did. We went and checked out the McClellan Curve navigation channel putting it at the Afton Pool between Coweta and Wagner, and we had a fun few hours in the water doing exactly that. We were checking out the oxbows and the small creek channels, starting about halfway back, fishing our way to the back. We had our best luck targeting the steeper sided banks that had some overhangs, had some roots, had stumps, had laydowns, any type of cover, especially the horizontal cover was better for us on this day. Our best luck was on a 5-inch shaky head worm and also the Buffalo Junior, fishing them on light sinkers and small light wire hooks, again right in and around the cover. Also this time of year when the water levels are coming up and the fish are moving into flooded grass and that type of vegetation, a buzz bait and a floating frog can be especially effective baits for fishing these areas as the fish do come up. It can be a lot of fun. You can duplicate these areas many places in different types of water as those water levels rise. One thing about it, you can't catch them if you don't go.
This week on your Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week, we're going to highlight some excellent crappie fishing going on right now at Broken Bow Lake in the southeastern corner of the state of Oklahoma. So let's locate it right now on the Lawrence HDS-10. The lake is located just north of the city of Broken Bow up US 259. We're going to highlight the upper end of the lake where the river flows in and where the crappie are spawning right now. We switch to the Navionics Hot Maps Platinum chart for greater detail. We show you that the major bends in the river channel have lots of standing timber along the shorelines. Lots of crappie there. The major feeder creeks also have lots of standing pole timber. Crappie spawn around the bases of those. Then the upper end of the river channel itself is lined with standing timber as well, and the crappie will hold there. Now we're going to zoom in to one of the creeks to show you some more detail. You'll notice that one side of the creek will be a steeper drop off into deep water and the other side will be shallower and a more gradual slope. Fish the shallower, less steep side, the crappie will be spawning in 3 to 8 feet of water here. One of the things I love about Broken Bow is that you've got a chance to catch several species of fish: smallmouth, largemouth, spotted bass, white bass, walleye, and crappie all live in the same water and will hit the same baits. That's this week's Lawrence Hot Lake of the Week. Stay with us. When we come back, Cajun Phil and Kevin are up next from Louisiana.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Stren, the standard of dependability, by Jean LaRue Lures and Bobby Garland Baits, quality soft plastic baits made in Oklahoma with American pride. Chevy Silverado, the official truck of the outdoors, and Mercury Marine.
There we go. There's a bedding fish right there. Up. Oh, easy. Only got an 8-pound line on here. This is your Southwest Outdoors report on Arbuckle Lake today. And I actually saw that bass before he bit it. And I made several casts. Tired? There we go. I made several casts on that fish using spinning rod and a little bed fishing rig. And finally got a nice bass, another male. They're guarding those eggs. What those bass will do is the male will come in, build a nest, female comes in, lays the eggs, the male fertilizes them, the female leaves, and the male stays there and guards those fry until they're big enough to leave the nest and theoretically fend for themselves. If you're coming to Arbuckle Lake, let me show you a little bit about the cover you're going to be fishing. It's a lot of rock structure, rock points like this one, little sandy gravel points coming out. There's a little bit of scattered grass out in about 6 or 8 feet of water, but the one thing that you won't find here is a lot of standing timber, brush, stumps, big weed beds. You don't find a lot of that kind of cover. Most of what you're going to be fishing is very subtle structure off the shore a little ways, and fish anything irregular, a little point, a little pocket, a little drop off of some kind. That's where most of these fish are going to be holding, especially as we head on into the summertime months. Light spinning tackle is going to be your key. Let's go east to Louisiana. Here's Cajun Phil and Kevin. Hey
Hey friends, this is old Cajun Phil here with your Fox Louisiana Fishing Report. Wow is all I can say. Is the wind blowing where you at? If it ain't, you must be in a hole. I tell you what, it's been blowing here in southwest Louisiana for the past 6 weeks, and fishing on Arbuckle Lake is about as bad as I've seen it in the last 20 years. The reason why? Muddy water. Muddy water is all I can say. As soon as that wind stops, the water's going to clear up, and it's going to be on pecan. So just hang tight. It's going to be on in just a few weeks. As far as bass fishing goes, my suggestion right now, Lake Barrette around Morgan City. We're getting great reports from Lake Barrette where they're catching lots of bass. Now, what they're doing, friends, they're fishing the cypress trees, but not the ones next to the shoreline. They're picking out the cypress trees that's 4, 5, 8 foot away from the shoreline. They're fishing spinner baits and just tearing up the bass. When it gets hot, they go to a plastic worm. A 6-inch bass assassin works great. You need a multicolor worm. This is old Cajun Phil saying happy fishing, and may God bless you. We'll see you folks next week.
There's one. Got him. Up. All right. You done? There is another largemouth right there, and that's a little chunk. Hey, all right, well, there's one more for you. We're gonna take a quick little break right here. I'll put him right back there. Before we do, I wanna show you something though. One of the cool things about this lake, and I'm not sure if the Oklahoma Wildlife Department did this or what. See right here in front of me, there are a lot of fish attractors around this lake, and what they've done is sunk big brush piles underneath every one of those buoys and marked it as a fish attractor, and right straight under that is a big brush pile, and I guess they've staked them down where they won't float off. Great crappie spots. We've actually caught a few crappie around those markers right there, and as this weather gets on into summer and these fish pull out into a little deeper water, you can see it's right in the middle of this channel. Those crappie will gang up on these attractors, and you can catch them on minnows or little crappie jigs right over the top. Stay with us. When we come back, we'll have your expert answers to your fishing questions on the Ask the Pro. We'll have the Academy Right Stuff and the big catch of the week. Stay with us.
The Southwest Outdoors Report, powered by Chevy, is brought to you by Abu Garcia for life. By Navionics. Enjoy Navionics anytime, anywhere. By Whataburger, just like you like it. And by Motor Guide Trolling Motors.
Welcome back, everyone. It's time now for our Ask the Pro feature. Our question this week comes to us from a viewer in Mesquite, Texas, who wants to know, what bait should you use and where should you fish when a lake has a lot of pressure from tournaments? For the answer, let's ask a man who has fished a lot of tournaments and won the 2000 Bassmaster Classic, Woo Dave.
Well, I usually find out on lakes that have got a lot of pressure that a shaky head worm works really well. I'll take a zoom, straight tail, either a finesse worm, and then I like to go back in places that you normally wouldn't fish or where you don't see people fishing. A lot of times you can go back in flats and work through the flat and get back into a little channel where a lot of boats don't go, and kind of off the beaten path sometimes where you don't see other people fishing, you'll be able to find some fish.
If you have a question for one of the pros, just visit our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com, click on the Ask the Pro link, and send us your information. Now let's get you back to Barry for our Whataburger Big Catch of the Week.
Hey, this week's Big Catch of the Week photo is our very first one on the show from Lake Atoka in southeast Oklahoma. This is James Riley showing off an 8-pound, 13-ounce largemouth bass he caught from this city lake located just outside the city of Atoka. Now, if you'd like to enter your Big Catch of the Week photo, it's easy to do. You just go to our website at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. You will need to register to become a member. It is free, and everything you'll need to do that is in the top right-hand corner of the front page. And once you do that, you'll have access to the members-only area of our website with my blog, my favorites page, and much more information, including the chance and the place to send in your big fish photo along with your Ask the Pro question. On this week's Academy Right Stuff feature, let's talk about the equipment you'll need to catch fish at Arbuckle Lake. It's light and medium action spinning tackle. This is the Abu Garcia Veritas rod, the white rod you see me using. It's a medium action 6-foot rod with a medium spinning reel. Also, I used a medium action bait cast rod. This is the Vendetta Abu Garcia rod and a Revo XS reel. 2 baits that we use to catch the fish. The first one is a soft plastic jerk bait. That's a new one by the Jean LaRue Lure Company. And the other bait we used on a spinning rod, this is the 6-inch Jean LaRue Salt Flicker. It's about 3 times heavier than a regular soft plastic jerk bait. Next, I need to mention that next week you need to make a special note of our airtime. It's in an unusual time. We'll be on Thursday night at 8 p.m. right before the Texas Rangers Seattle Mariners baseball game. And if you missed that airing, we will repeat the show Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. Set your DVR for that airing because that time never changes. You can also catch our latest episode on the webpage at southwestoutdoorsreport.com. Right there on the front page is a link. You can play last week's episode the entire following week for 7 straight days. And you can catch all the archived past episodes of our show on our YouTube channel at youtube.com and search for Southwest Outdoors Report channel. That gives you access to everything we have from our past episodes. Well, I'll tell you, I enjoyed our day at Arbuckle Lake. I've been to this lake a couple of times before, always had some good success here. It can be a little bit of a tricky lake to fish, so you need to have some patience. It's not a lake where you're going to come and just load the boat with 30 or 40 or 50 bass in a day. The fishing is a little difficult, but it's a fun lake to fish, beautiful scenery around it, clear water. You'll enjoy your trip here. See you next week. Until then, I'm Barry Stokes saying be safe, have fun. Bye-bye, y'all.